is a worse version of sorry. I can already hear the uproar in the comments. But like, what do you want me to say? I agree. Hi, my name is Bella and welcome to the channel where I usually talk about One Direction fandom, music, commentary, and today some slightly unhinged One Direction or solo hot takes that you guys sent to me anonymously through Google Forms on my Instagram. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and help me get monetized. And let me know your thoughts, hot takes, opinions below in the comments. I try to respond to every single one. At the end of the day, this video is meant to be entertaining and for fun, so don't take it too seriously is what I'm trying to say. And if you want to leave a rude comment, please keep the tone nice. Can you tell I'm stalling? Let's go. I'd rather have Piano Louis than Guitar Louis during his next tour. First of all, bold of you to assume that we'll get either. This man has been teasing us with a guitar for literal years, yet the only thing he has in his hands on stage is his microphone and beer. No, but for real, I do see where you're coming from. I feel like piano does allow for a lot more intimacy, but I think Louis' branding and the sound that he goes for lends itself more to an electric guitar. Also, I feel like in a lot of cases, a guitar is easier to get away with because I feel like oftentimes when you're playing guitar on stage, there is a backing track and there's a lot going on. Whereas for piano, it's oftentimes those ballads where the piano is the focus of the song, if that makes sense. I feel like we should just demand both, you know? Zayn leaving was the best thing that happened to them. It paved the way for them to stop doing the band and regain control over themselves and start living their lives. I kind of agree in a way. Do I think the way in which it was done where Zayn was vilified was okay? No. But I think that's more on Modest Management and Psycho than the other boys. Would I have liked it to be more of a collective ending of the band? Like a common agreement, less drama ending of the band? Yes. But if you have to find the silver lining, then in a weird way, I think the way in which Zayn left the band gave the band more hype and the solo members more hype when they later then went solo. If everything had ended nicely and there was no drama, people wouldn't have cared so much. The general public wouldn't have cared so much. But because of the drama, there was more eyes and more attention on the boys and what they were doing. So I guess in a way it might have benefited them a little bit, but I still would have preferred no drama. I can just imagine the contracts behind the scenes, how much of a mess it was getting out of a contract like that, knowing the shit they probably signed during the X Factor. Like, I know that it must have been so messy behind the scenes. I feel like we got the polished version, and I feel like the reality is way more messy than they're ever gonna tell us. I don't really like how businesslike Niles' career is becoming. I disagree. Now, I get where this is coming from and how you might feel that way, and I think your feelings are totally valid, but I think at the end of the day, we have to remember that all the boys are businesses and their way to make a livelihood is to sell us music, sell us tours, sell us tickets, sell us other products. And as artists get bigger and bigger, they need more people to help them manage it all. And suddenly they're not a smaller artist, they're a big company that employs people and that has a lot of people depending on them. So that authenticity and intimacy has a high chance of like fading a little bit and it becoming very much business-like or feeling very much like a business. But again, I think it's not only with Niles. Harry has Pleasing and Louis has his clothing company, and that's how they make sure to stay profitable long term. Them becoming more business-like is strategically smart. But I understand the feeling of not necessarily wanting to be exposed to it all the time and wanting a little bit more authenticity and personality. For example, one of my favorite things that Niall did that I think he should bring back was the live streams. When he did them during lockdown, like that was so nice. And it was a really great way for fans to connect to Niall. You know, and I feel like that is maybe missing a little bit every now and then, but also they have, you know, their right to privacy and it's a balance basically. But I definitely don't think that Niall being businesslike is as big of a problem as you might think. Harry is mostly popular due to being the most marketable. He's talented, but Niall and Louis arguably are slightly more, yet less known and popular. I do think Harry is the most marketable one, and I think it comes down to marketing strategy, really. I feel like from the beginning of their solo careers, I feel like Harry especially, there was a lot of effort put into marketing Harry as Harry the solo artist rather than Harry from One Direction. And I feel like there was a lot of times, especially in the beginning, where we didn't see pictures of Harry with any of the boys. And we didn't hear Harry talk about any of the boys in interviews. It was almost as if it was like not allowed for him to talk about the other boys. I feel like it was the strategy to position Harry as his own thing. But I think Harry was easier to make use of. Ugh, that sounds so wrong saying it. Because Harry already had this womanizer image that they could use to get him into the tabloids, which I hate even saying womanizer image because like, ugh. That womanizer image or that strategy of, you know, getting him into the tabloids, they couldn't really do that with Niall because Niall is happily with Amelia. And I feel like also Harry's musical genre was more appropriate to market to the masses compared to, let's say, Louis's more rock indie artist sound. So I feel like Harry is the most popular one because he is the most marketable one. I think that sucks because the other boys are also really talented, and it's not just about talent. It's, you can have a really good product, but if you don't market it properly with a good strategy, then you don't always get a chance to show it to a lot of people. And I hate to say it, but Harry's marketing team had a strategy that worked. And that's I feel like that's all I'm gonna say on that. Harry, Niall, Louis, and Zayn shouldn't regroup and sing something as tribute to Liam, as 1, it isn't One Direction without Liam, 2, it wouldn't feel right, and 3, it'll be exploited by management for fame rather than an honest tribute. 100% agree. First of all, I think it would just be hard emotionally for the boys to do. And second of all, call me pessimistic, but like, I feel like the One Direction X Factor era contracts have some sneaky clauses that would end up giving Simon Cowell money. And I think out of principle, the last thing the boys want to do is give Simon Cowell money. However, if they were to do anything, maybe it would be like demos or like vault tracks from some of the older albums, and then maybe the proceeds from those songs could go to, I don't know, like a charity that Liam would have liked or a charity that his family likes. But yeah, like, to be honest, I don't think they will ever. Maybe in like 10 years, but like in the near future, for sure not. Temporary Fix is a worse version of No Control. Sorry. You're funny, but you're wrong. They are both 2 individual masterpieces, okay? Like, yes, I see the similarities of both being like really fucking horny songs, but I feel like they're both great in their own right. Like, to me, what makes No Control so special is that we had the Project No Control fan promo thing going on back in like, what, 2015? Let me know in the comments if you were part of that as well, because like, I remember it and it was so iconic. Like, Temporary Fix is also so iconic. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I'll be doing something, I don't know, like washing dishes, and my brain will randomly go, climbing over me while I climb in the backseat. It's just so catchy, and it's like that one sentence. Point is, they're both good, and you're wrong. Sisters? Yes, I could see them being sisters, but worst version? Absolutely not. 4 is their best album, and if you disagree, you're wrong. Made in the AM is a tough contender though. It's just sonically more mature, lyrically better, and shows the most growth. I can already hear the uproar in the comments, but like, what do you want me to say? I agree. Like, those 2 albums are my favorite albums, and there are songs on both of them that I love. But I think if you look at the whole body of work together as a cohesive album, I do think that 4 is more sonically cohesive. Also, like, production-wise, it flows better together as a unit of an album. Whereas I feel like Made in the AM had more variety in the songs. The songs are good, but they're not as cohesive as they were on 4, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's like one cohesive piece of work. 4 does beat Made in the AM. It does. We as fans have no right to have opinions on and judge any of the guys' personal lives, especially their relationships are none of our business, and we need to stop acting like we're entitled to say harmful things about their girlfriends and families. I'm ashamed and horrified about how the fandom treats Zara and the women Harry kissed. I feel like I have to be careful how I approach this one. Firstly, 100% agree that hurtful, harmful, disrespectful things should be kept in the drafts. That's it. Because at the core, we as fans are here for the music, to enjoy the music, and to enjoy the music with other fans in the community that is formed around the artist, around their music. However, I do think that we're allowed to have opinions. It's just the way in which and the tone in which that they're expressed online that I think is problematic. For example, let's take Louis and Zara's relationship. I do think in some situations their teams might make use of the relationship to gain a couple of extra articles in the press, because relationships are a great marketing technique, especially in the entertainment industry, especially if you want to gain some awareness for your artist or for Zara. And it's not to say that the relationship is fake, it's simply to say that sometimes it might be a win-win situation, like here's a relationship and if we get papped a little bit then we can get some more attention, like why would we not? And in those cases, those articles are meant to create a buzz and create discourse, to get attention and to get, hype. The fans are the ones who do that, and the fans do that when they have opinions and when they have thoughts and when they share things with each other. So blaming fans for doing that when that's exactly the aim of the article, I feel like it's not fair to blame fans for having opinions. But again, it's the way, I think, in which the opinions are expressed and the tone in which that they're expressed that is the problem. Being cruel, sending death threats, like that's so unnecessary. I get the ick sometimes because Louis always sings so close to the mic like he's making out with it. Especially the close-up shots. I can't tell if this is serious, but like, let's assume it is. I see where you're coming from because he does in fact make out with the mic every time he sings. And I've only noticed it not because it gives me the ick, but because I'm a singer. And my entire life, we've always been told there has to be space between you and the mic for the optimal sound. And every time he's like making out with the mic when he's singing, I'm like, I wish he would back up so the sound quality is better. I mean, but if you get the ick, you get the ick. Like, I can't tell you you're wrong because like, your feelings are valid. Solo fans can be super toxic, especially solo Harrys against Louis. Oh yeah, I just don't understand why though. Again, with the respect towards the artists. Like, you can not be a fan of someone, but also still respect them. Like for me, I don't really listen to Zayn's music, mostly because his genre is just like not really what I gravitate towards. But I have like massive respect for him as an artist, as a writer, as a musician. Like if you're a solo Harry, can you let me know what the Louis hate is all about? Because I don't think I've seen it the other way around. If anyone could enlighten me on the supposed drama, I would love to know. Oh, I guess this is similar. People hating when the boys sing 1D songs during shows piss me off. Like it's their songs. 100% agree. I've actually wanted to make a deeper dive video on this for a while, but basically there are so many reasons why an artist like Louis, let's say, wants to have One Direction songs in his set list. I'll give you 3 reasons. First of all, maybe like have you considered that he likes the songs, or he helped write the songs, or he enjoys the songs, or he wants to sing the songs. He is the artist. It is his show, his set list. He can do what he wants with his songs in his set list during his show. Second of all, I want you to remember that a lot of One Direction fans never got to see One Direction perform live and will probably never get to see One Direction perform live. So the only way that they can hear One Direction songs live sang by One Direction members is in the individual boys' set lists. Lastly, nostalgia is so underrated. Let's say you're a casual fan who kind of just happened to go to a Louis show and you kind of don't really know any of his songs and you're like, I guess I'll go. My friend invited me, whatever. And you're like, I don't really know any of his songs. And then he starts singing Drag Me Down and you're like, oh my god, I know this song. I didn't know that was him. And now suddenly you're like more interested in getting to know him and his other songs. So basically, I think you're wrong. Like, no one is asking you to go to the show. You can just like not go. You know? I feel like that was enough opinions for today. If you would like me to do a video like this again with more opinions and more hot takes, I would love to do it. Let me know in the comments. And if you want my other videos, I'll link some up here. I'll link some in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And yeah, until then, have a nice day, have a nice week, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!